Are you climbing the right ladder, but it's against the wrong wall? Hi, I'm Terry, coming to you from Beyond 70. Dr. Stephen Covey, I think it was back in the 70s or 80s, in his book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, just came up with this idea of climbing the success ladder. And halfway up the ladder, you discover the ladder is against the wrong wall. And what he was talking about was being successful at the wrong things. And and we all tend to do that. We spend a lot of time trying to be successful and then end up we figure out we're in the wrong place. I've done that a lot. As a matter of fact, I was really lousy in school, so I grew to expect to be unsuccessful at just about everything. But when I was 17 and a half, I joined the Navy, and I went in the Navy in the 71. And through those years, early in my Navy career, it's probably the most successful I've ever felt. Um, I was an operations specialist looking at radar scopes and tracking things, but I got to where I was good at it, and that may very well be the last time I have felt really successful. Now, most people would probably see my life as pretty successful. After I left the Navy, the reason I left the Navy is I applied for and was promoted to what the Navy calls a limited duty officer, and I was I was pretty proud of myself. I was a chief petty officer, and then I became a commissioned officer. But what happened then is I had reached the Peter Principle. And if you haven't heard of the Peter Principle, this gentleman by the name of Lawrence J. Peter came up with this idea that you can be promoted to the point of incompetence. And that's where I was in the Navy. I shouldn't have applied for the limited duty officer program. It just wasn't fun anymore. I mean, it's one thing to be a chief. Let's just say people listen to Navy chiefs. But when I became an officer, everything changed. It wasn't fun anymore. It was just like this elite club that I never felt like I belonged in. So I shouldn't have done it. So I got out of the Navy and I went to Vandenberg Air Force Base. Now it's Vandenberg Space Force Base. And I was there for 3.5 years, I think, launching rockets. I was actually on the range, a range controller, controlling radars, tracked rockets as they launched out of Vandenberg. It was fun. It was fun. But, there again, I was promoted into things that I didn't enjoy anymore. I wouldn't say incompetent, but I was certainly promoted to a place where I just didn't enjoy it anymore. So I left. I had an opportunity to get a job with a NASA contractor. It was the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And that was interesting. I mean, I was in charge of a team, but there were a lot of personalities there that I just didn't care for. The work was interesting, but the people, not so much. But I was there. I mean, I stuck it out. I was there, I think, a little over 9 years before I was transferred. I had another job down at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And even there, I kept getting crossways. I was a project manager, a senior project manager, heading up projects at Kennedy Space Center and over at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. It was Air Force Station back at the time. And I kept finding myself getting into these conflicts. People were trying to put very intricate processes in place that didn't make sense to me. It just seemed like they were making things way too hard. But so I went through that. And then my wife and I moved out here to California because we had to take care of her mother. She has since passed away, but we had to take care of her mother in the business. And I got a job at what they call a water conservation district. It was, there's a lot of agricultural water here in the valley, and it flows in every different direction during the summer. I worked there, and there again, conflicts. So I kept wondering, what in the heck is this all about? And it went right to the idea that all those years, my ladder was against the wrong wall. I'm convinced of it. So overall, I was successful. I mean, I made good money. I was fine through those years. But looking back, I was frustrated most of the time. And I think it was just that idea that my ladder was against the wrong wall. I was working hard to climb that ladder, taking opportunities that I could take, doing jobs that I could do, and getting promoted beyond my competence in the Peter Principle. So, but looking back, my ladder was against the wrong wall. Now, what would I have done? I don't know. In a perfect world, I think I probably should have been a construction manager because I really love watching things being built. Always have, even when I was a little kid. As a musician, I wonder, should I have gone into music, try to do that professionally? That I don't think so. I mean, I love playing music. I've played my guitar since before I can remember. But would I want to do that as a job, as a career? I really don't think so. I just think it would have taken the fun out of it. If I could have figured out a way to make a living with my writing, I might have done that. I mean, I can't have any regrets. I mean, I'm here beyond 70, and I don't really have any regrets. I mean, looking back, I think I could have done better. I think I could have had a more enjoyable life had I taken a different path. So, since we're striving now for basic happiness, we were working for that every day. Not our priority, obviously, but I think you and I know we want to be happy from day to day, and we just have to work at it. But looking back, I think I could have been happier had I taken a different route and not had my ladder against the wrong wall. So let me know what your ideas about that are, any thoughts you've had down below in the comments, and let's start a discussion, okay? Don't forget, you're never too old to learn. We'll see you.